but it's, you know, the smallest, I think, or it might be medium, I'm not sure. It's like, it only looks like it's like 1/4 inch. All right, I don't pull any of this stuff out. I just grab the string in the middle there, wrap it back to where we just had it, give it a couple of wraps. We still have some crazy glue on here, so that's gonna also help when we cinch down on that. Now you wanna give yourself a good wrap just above the hook bend and then start going back, and of course you pull your fibers back as you go. These don't need to be touching wraps, you know, I got about a 1/16 in between. Go to the dumbbell eye, and I go under, and one more. I go, and we're gonna lock that in there. All right. Pull this stuff away from your eye. All right. Got some fibers by the eye, but that's not going to bother us. You could take one of those cauteries and fix it up if you feel like it. I don't really ever play with that. Give yourself a couple of whip finishes here. Use your tool, use your finger, use whatever you want. We're going to poop everything up pretty good. And maybe we'll give us another one or two. All right, so there we have that. And we have our fingernail. Natural colored nail. You know, I went through all different sizes, so this one, I actually, if you see, I trimmed a little bit on the edge to get it to the size that I want to sit on here. All right, so now we're going to take this nail. We're going to give us a good layer of goop, our resin. You want to use the thick on this. I got this is actually a bunch of leftover bottles mixed together. It's fine for finishing off heads and whatnot and doing things like this. This is like medium and thin. All right, so I get us a decent amount in there. Makes a nice little pool for it. Flip it over, put it right in spot. Boop. You hit it from below. Give it a push down. You know, give it a good push. You give yourself the gap you want there. That's why it's kind of important to use these SL12S's with the wide gap. All right, and that gives us a nice gap for our silly little mole crayon. Okay, everything's looking pretty cool. You want to make sure that that gets fully cured. You know, also like to take my flies that I use UV resins and put them on a windowsill or hang them in the sunlight for a little while. Get them nice and cured, especially if you're using the flex. The flex doesn't like to cure with the light like the hard resins do. So I definitely make sure that those go in the sunlight for a good amount of time. All right. And sometimes I will tie in some orange stems over here. You know, it could look like a spawning that time of year. Or you could just take a little red marker, orange marker, and hit it. But the orange is definitely a good trigger when they're spawning like that. All right, next thing is to color our shell. I have some, what is this? Bronze? I think bronze. Bronze metallic Sharpie. And I'm going to put just some speckles, on the top of our shell. And people, you can play with these. People down south have like different colors when they do this. I know there's guys who fish for pompano that love these things. Everything eats a mole crab, or they call them sand fleas down there. It's the same damn thing. All right. Make sure we're all dry. Let it sit for a minute. While it's drying, I could trim this up a little bit here around the eye. Very nice. Okay, that should be fine now. Now, what I do, put a nice dollop on top of my UV resin. The beautiful thing about this is that these UV resins, they kind of use things like this when your wife goes to get their nails done. I pull it to the front to where it hit, and to the back where it hits the shank. Pull it all on my thread wraps here, and then I work it down the sides, let it drain down the sides, just roll down the sides. You want it to cover the entire nail, but you don't want it to be dripping over the edge too much. You want it to come over by your eye. It'll help lock that nail in place. And this also will put protective coating so you get it in the front here by the hook bend too. All the way down to the edge of the nail. Give that a little leveling out twirl, let it sit, and then you hit it. Now it's also good to get an orange dumbbell eye, solid orange. You don't need the actual black dot on it for the eye. If I would get the orange ones with the white eye, and I would just put an orange marker over the white eye so it's all orange, because it's always good to have orange with these. It seems to be like a little bit of a trigger with that egg sac in the back here. All right, that seems pretty close. All right. See a couple little things sticking up that I don't like. Just trim them over here. And then also, you hit it with some liquid nails on the nail, because it's a nail. Can't hurt it, right?
Right in the top right corner. On top.
All right. Yeah, some of the Sally Hansons. I love me some Sally Hansons. All right, that's a fly. That's a mole crab. Yeah. This little guy catches him up. You find yourself a vein. The thing about this fly is that on the most beautiful days in the summer, in the middle of the day, you go out, find yourself a little rip with a vein of these mole crabs in them. Take this fly. You don't got to cast raw. You just got to get just out past where the waves are breaking or at where they're breaking. You'll find a little trough where they're being rolled up, and you'll find small rips with veins of them squirting out. You see them all over the place. And if you take you take this fly, you put a little shrimp procure on the bottom. Even better. Even better. You catch everything with this off the beach. Fluke, stripers, bluefish will eat it. Sundials, everything that you catch off the beach, this is in their stomachs. All right, one of my favorite summertime. It's easy as heck. You know, I fish these every which way with a fly rod. I've gone with a casting